Right, so good afternoon, all students that have registered and placed trades on the Easy Equities ETF Challenge. I hope that everyone is keeping well, and I hope that for most of you, you've had an opportunity to see the performance of your trades that you've made since inception, and also had a chance to track the kind of performance on the various type of risk profile areas that you've been tracking in relation to diversify your trades. Today, I'm going to be running through a couple of important areas with regards to what the process is going to be in order to sell. In other words, what is the process that we can determine to realize what profit you have made on each and every one of your exchange traded funds that you have chosen, irrelevant of the timing, as long as the timing has been since the launch of the competition. So I must just reiterate for everybody, there are a number of students that have placed trades before the competition date, and I'm going to be showing everybody where we can access the transaction history. And please note that the winners will only be allocated their prizes, and effectively the auditing of the results will only be done within the timelines of which the competition has run. Okay, right. So I just wanted to start off by stating that I have shared my screen with regards to the Easy Equities. I'm going to be running through a couple of areas within which you can view, if you haven't already, a couple of areas where you can view how your investments are doing on the ETFs. And then I'm going to be specifically showing you what is the process right at the end, which we'll be looking at in more detail next week. So please remember, the competition ends on the 21st of November. Next week, Wednesday, effectively, we will be asking all of you that are registered and have placed trades into the various ETFs to start selling those particular trades in order for us to see what profit you have achieved from the date that you chose or invested in the ETF to the date of selling it. Okay, so please look out for that information, and please join us next Wednesday for that very important segment to start determining how are we going to choose the winners for this competition. Right, so you will see on the screen at the moment that I have effectively gone onto the platform www.easyequities.co.za, and I've logged in using my specific username and password, and it brings me to this screen that we've currently got. This is basically my screen that I've gone into just to show you exactly the very first step today. How do we identify and where do we find the account overview? Okay, the account overview. So the very first thing we're going to do is that we are going to click on the demo ZAR. All right, we're going to be clicking on the little green box that says demo ZAR. And that is very, very important because a number of students obviously have got other trades that they have placed with regards to Easy Equities, the tax-free savings, the offshore US dollar, the demo US dollar. So remember that our competition only runs with regards to the 100,000 Rand that has been invested from your demo ZAR block. Okay, so once you've clicked on the demo ZAR, then you will effectively, basically, and right at the top part of the toolbar, account overview, you will click on the account overview. All right, and basically if you scroll down, All right, so if you scroll down on that page, and I'm just going to scroll down here, you will see some very, very important information with regards to the ins and outs of your account. Okay, so the ins and outs of all of the trades that you have placed, giving you the current value, all right, giving you the current value and obviously the profit and loss value. So you'll see here the profit and loss value in South African rands, and it gives you a percentage of your profit and losses with regards to all the trades that you have placed. And it also gives you a very nice breakdown of the various types of exchange traded funds, the distribution, in other words, what percentage you have allocated, all right, to your exchange traded funds and the rand value of the 100,000 rand that you have got available. And then it just gives you a summary of what you've got left that you can still go and place a trade. And I would ask all students at this stage, if you've got any money left here, then why don't you go and place that money on a couple of ETFs that are diversified out from the current risk profile that you've already chosen. Right, so this is a lovely little summary of exactly what your current general statement, if I can put it, of all of your trades will look like. All right, and at the bottom, let me just go in here, and at the bottom, right at the bottom of the screen, you will see three little blocks, okay, three blocks, and they are called, sorry, I'm just going to try and bring those down, all holdings, all right, pending orders, and the last one is recent transactions. So just want to just show you, if I click on all holdings, if I click on that particular aspect, it will basically show me, and let me just bring that down a little bit. This particular tab will show me that these are the recent, let me just bring that across a bit. These are the recent holdings and purchase values that I've made with regards to some purchases that I made on ETFs. It'll show me the price that I've actually purchased it at. Okay, so you'll see that is the amount that I invested originally. It shows me the current value today, all right, on the 9th of November of each of those trades that I've made. It gives you obviously the current share price or current price of that exchange traded fund. And more importantly, it says profit and loss. In other words, how much money I've made from the day that I've placed the trade to today. Okay, effectively from today. And then it gives me an option. All right, and this is what we are going to be going through next week, where effectively all of the trades that you've made on this particular screen, we are going to have to sell each and every one of them. And in next week's session, I'm going to go through this again, and I'm hoping that all of the students that have registered for the competition will join in for that session in order to understand that you have to sell each and every one of your trades in order for your final transaction history to reflect what is the profit or loss on each of those trades. Okay, so for now, you are, for example, if I look at these two trades that I made, for now, if I've got any money left, I could buy more. All right, so I could click on that particular button and I can allocate an additional amount of money to any one of these exchange traded funds. All right, so at this stage, I will encourage all students to buy whatever money you've got left of your 100,000 Rand. If you've seen, obviously, a good profit, all right, for example, this is a nice little profit that I've made on this particular choice of fund. I'm giving away all of my hot tips here as well. But on this particular Satrix Top 40 fund, I've made 6.72% return on that trade since I placed the trade a few weeks ago. All right, so at this stage you can buy more, and this is the screen that you can go into to buy more using your remaining funds. And next week, we are going to be selling all of those particular exchange traded fund balances, if I can put it that way. All right. Okay. The pending orders, if I just go up a little bit, the pending orders, once you have bought or sold any of your ETFs, it'll show there as a pending order. And that's why it's important that we just give ourselves a couple of days in order to make sure that all of the purchases and what we've sold, that they allow at least 2 to 3 days before those pending orders are finalized. And obviously then your recent transactions, if I click on there, and it basically then gives me a nice little synopsis, a nice little summary of what I've done. You'll see here, it states recent transaction history. It shows you the date, all right? Your comment, for example, what is your account balance with the amount? And it'll basically tell you when you have sold, all right, and when you have purchased your trades. Okay, when you have sold and when you're purchased, and we will go through a live example again next week in order to ascertain how do you go and sell all of your particular holdings, because this is the statement that we will be adjudicating the winners of this particular competition. All right. If there are any questions, as always, please just pop them into the chat box, or you can email me directly. Okay, so that gives us some very nice information that is included under the account overview tab. And the other important element with regards to your what we call your total or your comprehensive transaction history, please note that this little these little 3 bars here with menu underneath it, all you do in order to see, and this is what we are going to do to adjudicate the winners of the competition, you click on the menu, those 3 tabs over there. All right, you click on the menu and you will go down to transaction history. All right, so let's just have a look here. Let's go down here. All right, so if you want to see, let me just move that across a bit. If you want to see what is your total performance once you have sold all of your exchange traded funds, you will go down to here where it says transaction history. So just to confirm, you will go to the main page. You will click on the 3 bars that says menu underneath it, and then you will go down to transaction history. And if I click on my transaction history to give you an idea of what it looks like, it will basically bring up the following information. And what is very important to understand is that this date, the start date that you must use, is the start date of this competition. So this is where some students have obviously placed a couple of trades before the start date. So basically what you will do is that you will click the various start date of the competition there. Your end date will be effectively the date that you have sold, and the transaction date over here will be the 21st of November. So on the 21st of November, you will click on that date and fill that date in, and right at the bottom, all right, so if I basically just put in here, if I go here to the 1st of September and I basically press submit, okay, and I scroll down. So once I put all my dates in, you will see that all of my transactions that I have basically bought and sold. Okay, so remember, Where it says sold is where I've particularly sold some of my transactions. And I will take then the value, simply the value of my sold shares. So for example, where I bought a particular share for a certain rand value, where it says sold, I will specifically go and take the difference between what I bought at and what I sold at, and that'll give me my profit that I've made for that particular exchange traded fund. The name of the fund is contained in the transaction history as well. So you will know that, for example, this particular ETF, which is called the Core Shares S&P Global Property ETF, that is the name of the fund. So you can easily track what is the name of the exchange traded fund that you originally bought and sold, and we will then take the difference between the values on purchase and on the selling of that particular on that particular ETF to work out what is the general profit. Okay. All right. So that just gives you an indication, and obviously right at the bottom are the various pages. So it'll basically, if I click on page 2 and I scroll down, because there's been a fair amount of activity from my side, and I'm sure on your side as well, at the bottom is all the different pages that you would need to download in order to see each of the selling, and where it says bought, these are the buying prices, and we would then ascertain what is the difference between those two to accumulate the profit and loss on your account. All right, so remember to please click on each and every page at the bottom, and depending on how many trades you've made and sold, all of these pages will contain all of that information. And next week we will just go through the final steps in order to ensure that everybody sells all of the ETFs in time and then sends us through the transaction histories probably around about from the 22nd of November. Okay, from the 22nd of November. Remember, the competition closes on the 21st. So we will definitely give all of the students time to effectively get all of the administration history statements together, and then we will advise of the platform of how you can actually send it through to us. Okay. All right. So just one other thing that I wanted to just show everybody, and let's just go back into the account overview. I just want to just make sure what it basically looks like when we do sell. So if I go back into all holdings, all right, okay, and I go up over here, and I'm just going to use this as an example. I'm going to go and sell this Satrix ETF. This is called the Satrix Inclusion and Diversity Exchange Traded Fund. All right. So what I do is I click on sell. All right. And it's going to populate the next screen. And what is quite nice to have a look at is that once you've clicked on the sell button, it actually gives you a very nice indication of the performance of this particular exchange traded fund over the last 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and a year. And it shows you the selling price and the buying price of this particular investment. All right. And it also shows you, for me, the profit and loss of the amount that I invested, the 5,000 Rand that I invested. That is the amount of profit in rands and percentages that I achieved. And it gives me, therefore, after costs, the total current value of my investment. Okay. So what I do is, if I want to sell, I just go down to the bottom over here. And you will see that on the right-hand side, it will give me the amount to sell. So next week, everybody would have to sell 100% of all of their investments. And then you simply click on sell now, this little button over here. So if I click on that button, sell now, you will basically get a confirmation immediately. Okay, there will be a confirmation immediately of the fact that you have just sold this particular exchange traded fund, and it'll give you the value of that exchange traded fund. And literally within a few hours, that trade that has been sold will reflect on your transaction history. So we've been told by the Easy Equities platform that it could take, depending on the amount of activity on the platform, it could take anything between 24 and 48 hours. So that's why we will definitely be asking students to start selling all of their trades from the latest next Wednesday or Thursday, to make sure that your transaction history includes all of those particular selling off amounts by the close of the competition. All right. Okay, so I just wanted to show everybody exactly what the screens were in order, the screens, what they look like, and also exactly where to find all of those particular screens, and under what tabs they were, that they would fall under, so that you could understand exactly what steps you need to start looking at. First and foremost, now you've got enough information for you to look at how your investments are performing, and then just a preview of what we're going to be looking at next Wednesday with regards to the selling off of all of your investments. Okay, all right. Are there any questions out there? I'm going to basically stop the recording now and then take any questions.